are with our what you call it? All right, so I have some sentences up here. So last week we had started our lesson on this, but we had to kind of, with our day missing last week, we didn't do it. So we'll do it this week. So this week we're just going to practice diagramming between our subject and verb. Remember, when we diagram a sentence, we always we read the sentence, divide between your subject and your verb, underline your subject once, your verb twice, okay? And also make sure to include all the punctuation that you have to do inside of the sentence. So I have 3 sentences up here. Number 1 says, Tyler cleaned his room. You'll write it correctly, divide it, underline your subject once, your verb twice. Number 2, Janet is from Orlando, Florida. So that one is a little difficult because you have to pay attention to where the verb is, but also look how we have a city and state. Does anyone remember what do we put between a city and state whenever we are writing a city and state next to one another? What goes in between them to separate the city, separate the state? A comma. So Orlando is the city, Florida is the state. We place a comma between them to show that that's a city and a state. Okay. So whenever you're writing it over, make sure to do that. And also Orlando, Florida is proper nouns. We should know to capitalize that. So you'll also divide between your subject and verb. And number 3, we kicked the ball. You're going to do the same thing, divide between your subject and verb, okay? So I'll give you about 5 minutes. You can work on these 3 sentences and we'll go over them, okay? Go ahead.
You guys keep your eyes on me. You dare everything. Take my stuff. If you got a lot of what you're supposed to be doing, you better answer. Miss Fulgence, I am unmuted, so you better be quiet. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go ahead and go over the sentences. Thank you. All right, so number 1 says Tyler cleaned his room. Let's go ahead and correct it first, and then we will divide it. So go ahead, Harlem. How am I going to write this sentence correctly?
Capitalize the T.
No, how many things total? Look at your groups. Okay, well, sorry, say that again.
Capitalize the T.
Capitalize first letter T.
And then put a period.
Good. Okay, so where am I dividing?
Clean his room.
Okay, what 2 words am I putting in my diagram in between? What 2 words? Remember, I'm dividing between the subject and the verb.
Tyler and clean.
Tyler and clean. So what's my subject?
Tyler,
Tyler, underline that once. And what's my verb?
clean.
Clean, underline that twice. Good. Subject, verb. Hope that's what we did for number 1. Number 2, Janet is from Orlando, Florida. Let's correct it first. Go ahead, Evan.
Capitalize the J and Janet.
Capitalize first letter J.
Capitalize O, the Orlando.
O in Orlando, that's a city.
Put a comma.
Comma between Orlando and Florida, that's a city and state.
Capitalize F.
Capitalize that F in Florida, finish with the,
Two.
good. Okay, where am I dividing?
Is and from.
Try again.
Janet and is.
Janet and is. Remember, guys, is a verb, linking verb, and I'm sorry, state of being and linking. Yeah. Am, is, or was. So yes, between Janet and is my verb. So I would underline my subject Janet once, and then is twice, verb.
The sentence at before, but I didn't know if it was why.
Yeah, because is that verb. You're gonna do it between your first verb. Number 3, we kicked the ball. How will I write this correctly? Josiah, how do I fix it?
Capitalize the W.
Okay, capitalize my W.
Put a period.
Good. And where am I dividing?
We and kick.
Between we and kick. What's the subject?
We.
We. And what's my verb?
Kick.
Kick. Underline that twice. Good. Awesome. Okay, did everyone do these correctly? No, we missed it. Okay, so make sure if you did something incorrectly that you fix it and look at it so that tomorrow when we practice, you know where to go from there. All right. So this is what we'll be doing in writing this week. Basically, we'll have sentences to make sure to capitalize and punctuate like we always do, but we're actually diagramming this week, okay? Remember, diagram, you divide between your subject and your verb. Your subject is your who or what the sentence is about. The verb is the action that is going on, what that subject is doing in the sentence, okay? All right, so that's it for writing. Go ahead and get out your phonics book so we can do dictation. Page 261. 261.
That's so small.
This is somewhat away, and you have to use 9 and 2.
What page?
You said you put 9 minus 2 equals 17. 261, and then you put 9 plus 2, but that's 9 plus 2. So I need to get minus. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. What do you need from me?
Can you sharpen my pencil?
Okay. Mm.
May I go to the bathroom?
Mhm.
That's a lot of pages we passed.
All right, so let's go ahead and dictate our sentences. Everybody's on page 261.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, the sentence says, Grandpa wears a straw hat when he works outside. Grandpa, that word is done for you. Grandpa wears a straw hat when he works outside. Again, Grandpa wears a straw hat when he works outside. 6. Grandpa wears a straw hat when he works outside.
Miss Flugents,
Uh-huh.
is it 261?
Yes, 261. Six. Grandpa wears a straw hat when he works outside. I was about to say that.
It was in 2 weeks or 1. On Tuesday. I thought that was tomorrow. Well, Friday. It's in 14 or 7 days. If we do 2 weeks, it's 14 days.
It could be in no days.
Okay. I want to.
Okay, do we have it? Yeah, let me see. Grandpa wears a straw, okay. All right. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, for those who are able to finish in time, good. All right, awesome. All right, so can you go ahead and let's go ahead and read some sentences. So remember, you've been learning adjectives inside of your book. Remember, an adjective is a word that describes a noun. It will tell you what kind and how many. So I'm gonna go ahead and read a sentence and you'll tell me the adjectives, okay? So the first one is, we enjoyed warm bowls of creamy soup. There are two adjectives in there. We enjoyed warm bowls of creamy soup. What will be my two adjectives inside of that sentence? We enjoyed warm bowls of creamy soup. Lyric?
Enjoyed.
Okay, so remember, an adjective describes a noun. So whatever we're saying, it has to describe something. Enjoy didn't describe a noun. I'm gonna read it again. We enjoyed warm bowls of creamy soup.
Warm.
Warm, good. And what will be the other ones? Because warm is describing the bowl. And then what's another one? We enjoyed warm bowls of creamy soup. Thank you.
Soup.
Soup is the noun. What will be the adjective describing the noun? We enjoyed warm bowls of creamy soup.
Creamy.
Creamy, it will be creamy. Creamy is describing the type of soup. It's creamy. Okay, good. Thank you. Next one, the two boys set up the green tent. The two boys set up the green tent. We have two adjectives in there. The two boys set up the green tent. Carly?
Set it up.
Set up is a verb. Listen to it. You're trying to find the words that describe what the nouns look like. The two boys, or how many of the noun? The two boys set up the green tent. Two, the number is telling how many boys, and there's another one. The two boys set up the green tent. Green is the color. It's describing how the tent looks. Next one. Four black skunks walked across the yard. Four black skunks walked across the yard. What will be my adjectives? Four and black. Yes, walked across the yard. It's describing what the skunks look like. Okay. All right. Another one. We enjoyed a delicious snack of juicy grapes. We enjoyed a delicious snack of juicy grapes. Two adjectives. We enjoyed a delicious snack of juicy grapes. What are the two adjectives, Josiah?
Juicy and grapes.
Not juicy is one, grapes is a noun, it's a thing. Juicy is describing the grapes, but there's another one. We enjoyed a delicious snack of juicy grapes. What's the other one, Camille? Camille? We enjoyed a delicious snack of juicy grapes. We know juicy is one adjective.
I know this one.
We enjoyed, no, not remember y'all, the adjective is the word that is describing. It's describing something.
I know it.
Okay, Hannah?
Oh, I know this one.
We enjoyed a delicious snack of juicy grapes.
Delicious.
Delicious. It's
I
describing
know
the
it.
snack. Delicious
How it
snack.
was.
Juicy grapes. Okay, so what we're listening for are the words that are describing the noun. Remember, we've done adjectives, guys.
Yeah.
Adjectives describe nouns. Okay, let's do another one.
You see it.
Mom gave us sweet oranges. Mom gave us sweet oranges. Mom gave us sweet oranges. What would be the adjective in this sentence? Amina.
Sweet.
Sweet is describing the oranges. Mom gave us sweet oranges. Oranges is the noun. It's a thing. Sweet is describing what the oranges taste like. Okay. Mhm.
Please don't do it. I bet there's
Yeah.
something else.
All right. So let's go ahead. So that's good. You'll practice that in your book. Just make sure. Remember, an adjective is a word that describes a noun. It tells you what kind, how many. Okay. So it's important to look for that, to pay attention to what's your noun. The adjective will usually be right before the noun to describe it. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and practice our 4 types of sentences. We have a declarative sentence. What is a declarative sentence? What does it do? Okay, Harlem.
Period.
Mhm. What does it do?
Oh, I know. I think I know
Two.
this one.
So 2 out of 3.
I know it.
What does a declarative sentence do?
I think I'm gonna try this. I know.
Okay, let me see. Can somebody help them out? What does the declarative sentence do?
It gives information.
It gives us information. It tells us something. If I would say, I went to the store yesterday, that's a declarative sentence. I'm telling you something about myself. What did I do? I went to the store. Okay, what about an interrogative sentence? What does an interrogative sentence do? Go to count your tens again. What does an interrogative sentence do?
How about saying?
Okay, Hannah. Well, you count how many tens?
Asks a question.
Yes, an interrogative sentence will ask the question, like I just asked you all the question. What does an interrogative sentence do? Okay, what about imperative? Imperative sentence.
What imperative? Imperative.
Imperative. I didn't say comparative. Imperative.
I forgot what that one does.
Yeah,
Did you have to count if I won?
yeah, how many of them do you have?
Are you doing the point?
Yeah, no. Okay, Camille. Imperative sentence.
Gives the direction.
Gives direction, you said?
Gives a direction.
A command, yes, it gives you a command. It tells you to do something. Imperative, and then we have exclamatory. What does an exclamatory sentence do?
It shows happiness.
It shows strong or sudden feeling or emotion. Yes, so remember your 4 types of sentences. Okay, so all of them start with capital letters, but depending on what type of sentence it is, they end differently. Interrogative sentences end with question marks, and exclamatory sentences end with an exclamation mark. Yeah. Obviously. Okay. All right, so you'll go ahead and need to get a little slip paper. I will move on to math. You can get a little slip paper out. That was it for phonics.
Use this again. Oh. And no pen. Woo.
What just happened?
All right, go ahead and get out that multiplication table page. That's what we'll work on. We'll start it today. We'll do half of it today and the other half tomorrow. Yes.
The page on math.
The one that I told y'all to get out, 130-2, multiplication table.
Oh, yeah. And what about the other one with the numbers in 4 blocks? Multiplication table. Oh, we gotta worry about it. What? You're doing good. My brain is hurting right now. I didn't do it on purpose. My brain, how did that? My brain wanted to don't worry. It didn't go to work.
Excuse me.
Hey. That's because you too close. Sorry, I can't see. Division, dividing. Dividing by 62. What?
All right, so let's go ahead and look at it.
Why do we have to write all?
All right, so this will be kind of your guide to help you when it comes to multiplying. I'll show you how to use it and how to do it, but we'll fill it in first before I do that. Let me pull one up so that it'll help you with multiplication. Like if you don't know a fact, it'll help you remember the facts.
Yay! So I finally got, but you could still write it at home. To make a moment. Okay, I'm gonna just a big paper like this. Miss Fusion, it looks like you have a table and just writes this whole thing right here. You don't touch mine, go. What?
Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna put one up on the screen. Everybody has the page I'm talking about, right?
Yes,
Multiplication table. Yeah. Okay. So I have one here. And we'll fill it in together.
Whoa.
So whenever.
How did you do that? Wait.
So whenever we are filling in the multiplication table. Sorry.
Are you sure that's what it is with your hand? Yeah. But she doesn't have her mouth.
Okay, so the multiplication table is used to help you fill in the multiplication chart, to fill it in, and it helps you, like if you aren't sure of what an answer is, it helps you to figure out what the answer is. So that's not gonna work because that one does not have a 0. Hold on.
It doesn't have a 0. This is gonna be awesome since we're going to third grade. We're gonna have to bring this. Third grade is gonna be so fun, Miss Prudence. No, I don't want fourth and fifth. I'm just listening to third grade. So then you're gonna have to repeat all your grades and everybody's gonna have to go. It's easy in a night. Second grade is easy. Skip third grade.
Okay, there we go.
I want to skip first and third.
All right, so here we go. So we're gonna go ahead and fill it in. All right, so to figure out how to get the answers from the chart, you always start on this side of the chart, which will be your left side. Then you match it to this side of your chart, which is the right. So if we were doing 0 times 0, this is what it would look like. I would start here on this side. I would say 0 times 0, and then I put the answer right here. Because I'm saying 0 times 0 is obviously going to be 0.
Oh.
See? So that's what you need to do. 0 times 0 is 0.
Okay, so there's 2 zeros.
Okay, did y'all see how I did it? I start here on this side. I said 0 times 0 equals 0. Yep. All right, so let's go to the next one. We're still on 0. So now I'm going to ask what's 0 times 1. That will be 0. This shouldn't be hard because we know everything times 0 is going to be 0. Yes. So I think we know that everything times 0 is always going to be 0. So let's go ahead and fill in the rest and put 0 because 0 times 2, 0. 0 times 3, 0. 0 times 4, 0. All the way. Anything times 0 will always be 0. I'm filling it in on my finger. That's why it looks like that. But y'all go ahead and fill it in with 0.
We don't have a 10.
Yeah, yours goes to 9. So just go all the way to 9. So anything times 0 is always 0. It's nothing. I'm not multiplying anything.
That says multiplication chart and ours say multiplication. I can't wait to notice that. Me too. But if you're not, yes, I will. But
Okay, do we all have 0?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to 1. So now we'll do 1. So we have 1 times 0. That will obviously be
0.
So put a 0 here.
Okay. There's a lot of zeros.
Well, yeah, pretty much that whole first row will be because, but yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. Now we are on. Oh, erase that. Okay, now we're on 1 times 1 equals 1. 1 times 1 is 1.
Yeah, finally all of the zeros. It's only 10 zeros.
Okay, are we ready? Next one. So we're gonna do 1 times 2 will equal 2. Now remember, anytime a number is multiplied times 1, it's always the number because that means you did not add anything. You started with that number, you're finishing with that number. So that's what your answer will be. Whatever number you're multiplying times 1. Any number multiplied times 1 will be the number. So 1 times 3 is equal to 3.
Hey, it's actually counting by numbers. 1, 2, 3.
I know.
I didn't. That was one time.
All right, next we have 1 times 4. 1 times 4, so that's 1 time, look the x times, then we go to 4 equals 1 times 4 is 4.
Your numbers are better than ours.
That's
The way
okay.
they're four. Our numbers.
No, here's your stuff. All right, next we have 1. 1 is this. 1 times 5, and that will equal 5. 1 times 5 is 5.
Just go through it.
Next, we have 1 times 6. That will equal 6.
I just want to run on.
Next, we have 1 times 7. That will equal
7.
good. Next, we have 1 times 8. That will equal 8. Then 1 times 9 will equal
9.
9.
I know the other answer.
Okay, do y'all have that filled in?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Let me make sure everybody's good. Y'all have it?
At first I was like,
Yeah.
Miss
Okay.
Susan, I
All right. If
know
you get lost, just let me know. That's the only way I'll know is if you tell me. Okay, number 2. Let's go to 2. Let's do some multiplying times 2. So we have 2 right here. So 2 times 0 is obviously going to be 0.
This whole row is going to be 0, and this whole row is going to be. There's 12 zeros. Yeah, this whole row is going to be 0, and then 0 is going to take over the world. No, this is the whole row 0. This is. There's something called a dividing board. Yeah, how could somebody be 0? Is there something called a dividing?
Next one. 2 times 1 will be
2.
2. Remember, anything times 1 is always that number. So 2 times 1 is 2.
Everything all over in 2 form.
Mm-hmm.
2 4. Oh, so now we know. We're doing it in the 2 pattern. Somebody got their dog. Lyric, as you know. Lyric. Lyric. Yes,
All right, next we have 2 times 2, and that equals
4.
4. No, you could do that later. Let's not do it now. Next we have 2 times 3, that equals 2, 6. 2 times 3 equals 6. Hmm? Next we have 2 times 7. 2.
2 times 7. Let's do this again.
2 times 4. Sorry. 2 times 4 equals
7.
8.
8.
2 times 4 is 8.
I'm not going to remember 3. We didn't even do 3.
Right there. Yes, we did do 3.
For number 1. No. Oh yeah, 2. 2, 4, 6, 8. We're counting by 2. See, this is why we did a multiplication.
We need to find these fugitives mouse so this is not happening.
Yeah, so.
I know. Next, we have 2 times 5. That will equal 10.
This is, we're done.
It's not in there.
It's not in there. She looked already.
Next, we have 2 times 6 equals
12.
12.
Pattern. Oh.
Next, 2 times 7, 14. And as you can see, it's counting by 2s.
I know.
Or you can just say 7 by 7.
2 times 8,
16.
16. And 2 times 9, 18. Okay, do we have those filled in?
Yes. Yeah, ma'am. I already know. 0. This is pretty fun, but
They make their own names.
All right, so this is where we'll stop. We'll finish it the next 2 days. We're only gonna do it in parts because it's a lot. It'll take long for us to try to finish the whole thing today. Okay, so we just did 0, 1, and 2. Tomorrow we'll do 3, 4, 5, and 6 probably, and then Wednesday we'll finish with 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so this will be our multiplication table that will help us when it comes to multiplying different numbers. Like I said, you start on the left, you match it to the number on the top, and that will give you your answer. So if you were trying to do 3 times 5, you would go to 3, then you would match it all the way to the 5, and that will give you what your answer is, which will be 15. Okay. So just keep that in mind. This is what the multiplication table is there for, to help you, figure out the answers, because some of them we might not know right off bat, but that table is there to help you out with that, okay? All right, so that's where we'll stop today with that paper, okay? So we still have a couple of things, so if you want to get a loose leaf paper out, you can. We got a couple of things we'll work out on the board.
get my listening paper.
No, ma'am, that's not gonna work. How did you put it, Sarah?
I got my listening paper.
What is it?
Put your hands down.
I'm sleeping.
What was this day?
Excuse me.
What do you like?
All right, so let's go ahead and work out these problems we have here. Okay, let's look at the first one. So I have 503 minus 281. Okay, I'll give you a minute to work it out, and then someone can explain it to us. 503 minus 281. Okay, go to your next book. I'm talking to Lynn.
Ba. Oh no.
Come back.
This one is first one.
Students,
Uh-huh,
may I use the bathroom?
sure.
Oh wow, it's a glass.
Another day and after.
In after
Miss Fulgent,
Uh-huh.
may I go to the bathroom?
Sure. Yes.
done. The middle number. No. When? This could be the correct answer. This is easy to me. You only can watch it.
All right. Anybody wants to walk us through this one? 503 minus 281. All right, Carly. Let's see. Maybe I should have it up. Okay.
0 minus 8 equals
We didn't start here.
you can't put a 1 to make 13. You have 3 minus 1 equals 2.
Okay, so we start in the back. 3 minus 1 is 2.
Is 8.
Okay, so I cannot subtract 0 minus 8. Remember, your top number is always smaller. If your top number is smaller than your bottom, I cannot subtract that. There's no way for me to take 8 out of 0. I cannot do that. This is where I trade. I'm going to take 10 from 5. It becomes 403. I add the 10 I took from there to this 0. This becomes 10. Now I can subtract. 10 minus 8, no. 10 minus 8 is 2. And then 4 minus 2 is 2. Your answer was 222.
Did that? Man, I looked at so.
Okay, all right. Next one. 317 plus 249. 317 plus 200. This is an addition. Plus 249. Go ahead and add this one up. Okay, go to spelling. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the whole stack is in the answer. No, I look on it. Alright. That's like the answer. Press on 6, 7, 4, 5. 500. 9 minus And the answer, I know. Then,
Okay, anybody wants to walk us through this one? How do we add it up? Okay, go ahead, Josiah. I was trying to go from one to other.
7 plus 9 equals 16.
Okay, how do I show 16?
Put the 6 down
Okay.
and put the 1 on the 1.
One above this one. Okay, what's next?
1 plus 1 equals 2.
Uh-huh.
2 plus 4 equals 6.
Good.
3 plus 2 equals 5.
Good. Answer is 560. Excuse me, 566. Okay, spelling. 566. Okay, next one. And now we're going to subtraction again. So I have 689 minus 190. 689 minus 100. This is minus 190.
I did it in my head, then I just. Guys, already. Because you have to do that. I am a follower. I am a star. I'm practicing my dollar sum. I'm practicing my dollar. 5.3. Doesn't even 5. Isn't it 400? I have to, I do it. It doesn't mean to not do it, but if I do, she did the next one. I'm letting that.
Okay, anybody wants to walk us through this one? 689 minus 190. Okay, go ahead, Evan.
Okay. 9 minus 0 equals 9.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
8 minus 9, you can't do that. So
I cannot subtract 8 minus 9 because 8 is smaller than 9. No way possible. So what do I do?
So you have to take 10 from 6.
Take 10 from that 6. It turns into what?
5.
5. What do I do with the 10 that I took away?
Put 1,
Add it to the 8 and it becomes,
18.
put that 1 to show 18. Okay, now I can subtract. So
18 minus 9 equals 9.
18 minus 9 is 9.
And 5 minus 1 equals 4. Yay!
499. Okay, are your answers matching up, guys?
Yes.
Okay. All right, last one. Excuse me. 134 plus 462. 134 plus 462. This is an addition. Go ahead and add this one up.
another bathroom right in there, if you need it, okay? And you put the trash in here, in the kitchen. In here.
All right, let's go over this one. $1.34 plus $4.62. Anybody who did not go wants to walk us through this one?
I went. I did not go.
Okay, go ahead, Harlem.
But I should do one of them. I did not.
4 plus 2.
Exactly.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. 4 plus 2 is 6.
3 plus 6. 9.
Mm-hmm.
1 plus 4 is 5.
Yep, there was no carrying or anything in this one. It was $5.96. Good. Awesome. All right, so remember last week we talked about division. Division means to divide. It's when we split something in a certain amount, and then we did dividing by 2, so that means we were splitting everything in half. Okay, so I have 8 divided by 2. If I have 8 and I divide it, mean I split it into 2, what will I have on both sides? 4. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. 14 divided by 2. If I have 14 and I split it down the middle in half, 14 divided by 2 will be? You split 14 in half. I did show you that. I said draw 14 and just split it down the middle. 14 divided by 2, anybody? 7. 14 divided by 2 is 7. And then 10 divided by 2. If I have 10 and I split it into 2 pieces, how many would I have on both sides? 10 divided by 2.
4. I knew it.
4.
4.
It's 5? 5. Good. So divide means to split.
Divided means split.
All right, let's make a story problem. So I have Jill has 6 bags with 2 toys in each bag. How many toys does she have total? So we have our 6 bags, right? This is a multiplication story problem because we have 6 bags and how many toys are in each bag? 2. What would be my number sentence, my multiplication sentence for this story problem?
That's easy.
Start with your first number.
6 times 2.
6 times 2 because she has 6 bags with 2 toys in each bag equals a total of how many toys? 6 times 2 toys equals. That's like saying 6 plus 6.
It doesn't. Oh, 12.
12. 6 times 2 toys equals 12 toys. Good. Last week, we also learned how to locate points on a coordinate graph. Remember, a coordinate graph tells us where the location of something. So usually when they want us to find points, they'll have two numbers. You'll have like a number here and a number here, right? So if I wanted to mark a heart on my graph, I need to mark my heart at 2, 4. Remember, we have 2 locations. We have the bottom line and the horizontal and vertical. Where do we start? Which line do we start on first to locate a point? We start on the bottom, so that means I need to find what number? 2. And then from there I go where?
4.
Where do I go to 4 at? Right here?
2, 4.
Where is my 4 gonna be?
2.
This is the 2, but which 4? Is it this 4 or that 4?
The top 4.
The top 4
The
up
top
here.
4.
You start on the bottom and you work your way up. So I find 2, your front number is always your bottom. So 2 on the bottom, and your side number will be your back number. So 2, 4. This is where I'm marking the heart. 2, 4. Okay, say if I wanted to mark a smiley face now on 1, 1. Where am I starting? I start where?
Bottom.
I find 1 on the bottom, and where do I go from here? 1 on the side, right here. So then I put my smiley face.
Yeah. I'm happy.
Okay. Does everyone remember that from last week? How to locate points on a graph?
Yeah.
Yep. So we always start, we find our front number is the bottom number. We work our way up to find the back number. Okay. So just remember that. All right. And last thing in math, let's go over the time. So I need to figure out what's a quarter to 5. What does it mean when I say it's a quarter to 5? What does that mean? Quarter to 5. So this is the question. If it's a quarter to, that 2 is your keyword. 2, 5. 2, 5. Does that mean I'm in the 5 o'clock hour or I'm almost at the 5 o'clock hour? Quarter to 5. That means I'm in the 5 o'clock hour or I'm almost in the 5 o'clock hour. Well, yeah, but that's not the question I asked. I said, is it I'm in 5 or I'm outside of the 5 o'clock? I'm outside. Whenever it has quarter to, that means you're almost at that hour. You're not there yet. So a quarter to 5, like Evan said, would be.
Outside.
Yes, but what time is it? 4:45. Remember, quarter to means 15 minutes until the next hour. A full hour is 60 minutes. 45 is 15 away from 60. So 4:45 is a quarter to 5 is 4:45. That means I'm 15 minutes. It's almost in 50 minutes. It'll be 5. Okay. Now, what about a quarter past 8? Look at the keyword past. A quarter past 8. What does that mean? Quarter past 8. Quarter past 8.
It's like before. I forgot.
Okay, anybody? Okay, I guess Evan is the only person.
It's 8:15.
It's 8:15, right? So 8:15, that's past. Quarter past means 15 minutes into the hour. 15 minutes into the hour. So quarter past would be 8:15. So quarter to is 15 minutes until quarter past is 15 minutes in the hour, okay? It's important you know the difference. You'll probably see this on your test this week. So please make sure that you're understanding the words. It's about the word. Quarter to, quarter past, they both mean something different, okay? Does everyone understand that? I didn't get a lot of hands raised. I'm not sure why. Do we understand? Don't understand. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to reading, and then we have language, and we'll be done for the day.
Miss Louise,
Uh-huh.
your volume's very low. Yeah.
Yeah. hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so we're on chapter 10, page 61. So remember, they're now in the Norse village, Beth and Patrick, but they still have the task of finding what? They still need to find the sunstone, right? They're still looking for the sunstone, but they have to stay inside of the Leaf brought them to the church. Remember, he was in charge of watching over them because he said that's where they'll be safe because the people are about to celebrate a feast to their false god. So they needed to make sure to stay inside the church. Remember, Patrick did get out of the church and he almost got caught because he was digging in the bundles. And so they called him a thief and he was able to get out because the Leaf stood up for him. So let's start with chapter 10, the feast.
I don't remember reading chapter 9.
Okay, Harlem, you can go ahead and read 61, go into 62. I'll tell you where to stop. And then Camille, you'll read after him.
Come with me to the longhouse, Leaf said. To Patrick, the feast will be held there. Maybe someone took her inside. They ran across the village. The longhouse was much larger than the church. Patrick stuck his head through the doorway and looked around. The big bedroom was filled with men and women. A gray haze hung like fog. It was hard for Patrick to see. He coughed and wondered what caused the smoke. Then he saw a fire blazing in a fire ring. It was at the center of the room. Some of smoke escaped through a small hole in the roof, but most of the smoke filled the room. No one seemed to notice. Patrick saw a huge metal pot hanging over the fire. He thought it looked like a witch's
Cauldron.
cauldron.
Okay, you can stop there. All right, so they were going by the longhouse because that's where they were gonna hold the feast. Okay, so the room had a bunch of men and women there. It was, foggy and, it was just different than what, they normally would see. Okay. All right, let's keep reading 62. Camille. And you can keep reading into 63. I'll tell you where to stop. But the Norse, he stopped at the Norsemen and Norse women on 62.
The Norsemen and Norse women sat on long wooden benches. They ate roasted fish and meat. They drank from wooden cups. A group of men played bone pipes and wood drums. Young teen boys and girls sang happy songs. Others danced nearby. Patrick moved slowly among the crowd. He searched for Beth. A few men were playing board games. Eric the Red was playing against another man. Next to Eric was Hilda. Next to Hilda was Beth. Patrick couldn't believe it. There she was, sitting on a bench. A small crowd moved in toward Eric and the man play. Beth saw Patrick and came over to him. "What are you doing here?" Patrick asked. "After you left, Hilda came to the church to check on me." Beth whispered. Eric said,
Pieces go.
"What happened?" Patrick asked. "Eric ordered me to help cook." Beth said, "He wants me to learn to be a house slave. That way he can sell me for more money." "But you are not cooking now," Patrick said. Hilda got upset. Beth said, "Eric isn't."
Okay. All right. So as they look at the people at the feast, right? They're eating fish and meat, right? They're playing games. They saw Eric the Red next to his wife Hilda, who they had met at the church. And next to Hilda was Beth, right? So Patrick couldn't believe it because who did not want to see them? Eric the Red, but there she is sitting, with them. So that was kind of strange to Patrick. And so, but she told him, "After you left, Hilda came and checked on me and Eric was with her." So what did Eric do?
Make her a house slave.
Basically make her a slave. He made her cook. He made her, because he said he was going to eventually do what?
Make her a slave.
Or sell her for money. Okay. All right. 64. Okay, Josiah, 64, and then Carly, you'll do 65.
Miss Williams,
Uh-huh.
I don't have my book.
Afraid of any man, but he's afraid of Hilda. She said she would keep me safe. I've been next to her ever.
Josiah, can you slow down a little bit? Pause at your periods, okay? All right,
Afraid
go
of
ahead.
any man, but he's afraid of Hilda. She said she would keep me safe. I've been next to her ever since. What game is Eric playing? Patrick asked. Chess. It's his favorite game, Beth said, but no one likes to play with him. Why not? Patrick asked. Because they're afraid of what he'll do if he loses, she said. Patrick pointed to Eric's sword, the yellow jewel-handed gleam. I think that might be the sunstone, but I wish I could get a closer look. I wouldn't try, Beth said. Suddenly, Eric slapped the table. Patrick and Beth jumped. The chess pieces bounced around on the board.
Okay, good. All right, so he wanted to make Beth a slave, but who stopped him? His wife Hilda, right? Because she said she would keep Beth safe, so she was not allowing her husband to do that. Okay, so what game are they playing?
Chess.
Chess, right? Now remember, what did Mr. Whitman give them before they left? The chess piece. Remember that? Okay. So Eric's sword has a yellow stone on it, and they're assuming that it might just be the sunstone. Okay. 65. Carly.
Classmate, he shouted. The man who lost stood up, bowed, and walked away. Who will play me next? Eric shouted. No one answered. He stood up and looked around. He saw Patrick as he stared at Patrick's cape. His eyes narrowed. Do you play, boy? Eric asked Patrick. No, sir, Patrick said. What about you? Eric asked Beth. Why, yes, she said. Patrick was surprised. Do you you do, he asked. Beth opened the small sack Mr. Whitaker
Keep going.
had given her. She dumped
Put it back.
the red
Put it
and
back.
white chess piece onto the table. Eric picked up the colored piece. They seemed bright compared to the plain pieces he used. Sit down, Eric said, but I don't think I'm good enough to play. A grown-up, Beth said. Sit down, Eric said. It was an order. Beth obeyed. She sat across from him. She looked scared. A wager for our game. Eric said, if I win, I will
It's a
get
wager?
the boy.
Wager. That not wagger, it's wager.
Wager for our game. Eric said, if I win, I will get the boy's silver cake. What does she get if she wins? Patrick asked. You may keep your lives, Eric said. The people in the crowd laughed. Hilda stood up.
Okay. All right. So after Eric the Red wins against the man in chess, he wanted to play Eric, but Eric said no, he did not play. So then who speaks up and said that they could play? Bet, because she had, what did she have? The what? The chess piece that was given to them. Okay. All right. So she didn't think she could play a grown up. She was kind of unsure. And so Eric said, okay, but we'll still play. He says, and if y'all win, what does he get?
The
boy's silver coat.
Patrick's silver cape. And if they won, what do they get?
They get
their
They get to keep their lives, basically. Okay, 67. Come on, Evan.
How is that fair?
That's not fair, my husband. She said if she wins, she should get something. Eric groaned. You're too kind to slaves. What does the girl want? Beth looked helpless. I don't know. She said, Patrick, cleared his throat loudly. Beth looked at him. Patrick tilted his head toward Eric's sword. Oh, I know, Beth said. If you win, you get the silver cape. If I win, I get your sword. The crowd suddenly went quiet. Eric looked puzzled. My sword? Child, Hilda said kindly. That sword is a family treasure. What would you do with this sword? Eric asked. It's too big for me. Go
All
on.
right, that was it. That's where we're stopping today. All right, so that wasn't fair that he says they get to keep their lives. So then she says, so then his wife speaks up and she says she should be able to get something, right? So Beth says, if you win, you get the silver cape, but if she wins, what does she get?
His sword.
But why does she want the sword? Because
He wants the sun.
they want the sunstone that is on his sword. So does Eric, well, that's where we'll stop today. So she's like, well, we get your sword, you'll get the cape, whoever wins the game of chess. So tomorrow we'll talk about the game of chess and what happens during that game, okay? Yeah, this chapter was kind of long, so that's why we're breaking into two. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and do our last thing of the day, which is language. You need a little sleep paper. We're learning something new today. Okay, so we're moving on to our last part of speech, and they are called prepositions. It's called a preposition. Okay, and the definition is pretty long. So yeah, we'll use this week to kind of learn the definition before we break into it.
Wait, that's so long. Right, that's so long. How are we gonna do this? And we're like, oh no, we forgot.
You guys may forget, but
I didn't know. Oh, it's right there. And then I'll just write it proper now. Yes, you're right. But you need a bowl. That's too big for me. So basically, I'm gonna forget, and I'm gonna get a B. And I do not get.
I don't do that. You
I want to get an A on my language. Yeah, but this year I'm going to get Miss Legend. What are we looking for? Zoo?
All right, so here we go. So this is the definition of a preposition here. So a preposition is a word that shows the relationship of a noun or pronoun to another word in the sentence. So this is what we'll be working on until the end of the year, basically. Prepositions, there's a lot of lists we'll learn. I believe it's 10 that we'll be learning. So these are prepositions. So go ahead and get this definition written down. You have to know this on Thursday. So write it down. Yep.
So we have little time to study.
We have 2 days, 3 actually. We start tonight.
Finally, 3 days.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Yep, so keep working hard.
Preposition. So,
a relationship.
shows
A now. Noun. To another relationship would
so this is so long.
text.
Bad.
Done.
This is so long.
Not a funny
Now this is gonna hurt my stomach. What if we say it on stage? What? No, God. But if we talking about it. Yeah, I can't wait for graduation. No, we don't have it. We don't need to go to
6.
Miss Illusions, we never had a graduation before yet. I'm almost done.
This was just I did the whole meeting.
I didn't get one because it was COVID. I'm on. I know.
Yeah, that's why we didn't get one.
I'm on the sentence.
And
Okay, I'm done, Miss Blair. It's not really that long, but on the board it is. No.
it's only 3 rolls of paper.
I know, right?
I mean 4.
Mine just 3. But they only write this.
Like mine is 2.
It's 2.
Yeah, but it's
But on,
4.
but on the board it's going to. No, that's wrong. 1, 2, 3. I can't wait to make that in the phone challenge.
I'm not ready for preparation.
You're
That's
gonna learn
20 words.
more parts of speech.
I know.
I'm ready to learn articles. I didn't learn articles. You did? Yeah. Oh, never mind. That's ridiculous.
Oh, I'm about to go to some addresses.
Yeah. Fail. I can write it again.
Wait.
What are you looking at?
Miss Felicia, I wrote it down.
Okay. Everybody else has it or we're done?
I'm done.
I don't get that 4 plus 4 is 8 and 3 plus 3 is 6.
Mm-hmm.
I can
3 plus 3.
Okay, you have a question, Lyric?
Can I tell you something after?
Okay. Does everybody else have it? Yeah?
Yes.
All right, awesome. All right, guys, so that's it for us on today. We'll go over your spelling tomorrow, just for time purposes. We're over time and we have to get ready to go here. Okay, so that was it for us today, guys. We covered all of what we needed to cover. Just make sure you practice your prepositions definition. If you didn't do your workbook pages and everything, make sure to get that completed, okay?